Good morning! Welcome back to Math Dali. Okay, so salamat po sa mga nag-subscribe na po sa channel. Sa mga hindi pa po nag-subscribe, pindutin lang po yung subscribe button. Kasama na rin po yung notification bell. Ayun po. So marami pong salamat. So kumusta po ang ating week 2? Natapos na po tayo sa ating week 2. Siguro naman nasagutan na yung mga worksheet and activities sa module. Yay! Okay, so this time we're going to proceed with our week 3 sa ating module and worksheet. So, present ko yung ating most essential learning competency. So, represent the absolute value of a number on a number line as a distance of a number from 0. Okay, so may term tayo dito ng distance and we also have the absolute value. Okay, so before we are going to define the following term, so, ito muna yung ating i-define. So, kasama na dyan yung, of course, yung absolute value. So, vocabulary natin, ano yung positive number, negative number, opposite, integers, and the absolute value. Okay, so, yan. Okay, pag sinabi po nating absolute positive number, these are numbers that is greater than 0. They may be written with the positive sign. Ito yung sign natin ng positive, but they are usually written without that sign positive. So, pagka wala kayong nakitang sign na positive sa number, ibig sabihin nun, that is understood na positive. Then we also have negative numbers. So, negative numbers are numbers less than 0. So, they are always written with that sign negative. So, yan. Tandaan, pag positive, greater than 0. Pag negative, less than 0. Okay, so name a positive or negative number to represent each situation. So, ganyan yung gagawin ninyo sa inyong module. So, worksheet, activity, what I know. Yan. So, meron tayong 5 items dito. Ito yung gagawin natin. So, you're going to name a positive or a negative number that will represent this situation. Okay, number 1, a jet climbing to an altitude of 30,000 feet. Okay, so yan. Meron tayo ditong term na climbing. Okay, so yan. Okay, positive numbers can be represented using climbing, yan, hiking, or even rising. Yan, yung mga deposit, yan. Ay yung mga positive na kung saan nire-represent ng ating positive numbers. Yan. So, ilalagay lang natin dito yung sagot. Yung sagot natin, maaring may sign na positive. Yan. So, we have positive 30,000. O di man kaya, pwede nang wag nang lagyan ng sign na positive. Or, we can have 30,000. Ayan. So, ayan. So, lagyan lang ng kama dito. Ayan. Okay, so ayan. Then we have taking out. Ayan. Taking out 15,000 from the bank. Okay, so ayan. So kapag withdrawing, okay, so spending, taking out, we're going to use negative. So that will represent negative numbers. Okay, so lagay lang natin dito yung sagot. That will be negative 15,000. Ayan. Basta nag-withdraw, taking out, yan, nag-spend, gagamitin dyan ay negative. Then we have 7 degrees below 0. So below, yan, or values that is less than a given value, gagamitin natin dyan yung negative. So yan, lagay lang natin dito yung sagot. So we have negative 7. Then 300 feet below sea level. So below sea level, so we're going to use negative. So negative 300. So negative can be represented using below or less than a certain value. Yan. A hiker hiking to an altitude of 4,000 feet. So hiking, rising, climbing. So it will represent positive value or numbers. So we have positive 4,000. So yan. Pwedeng walang sign o di kaya pwede rin ninyong ilagay yung positive 4,000. Yan yung sagot. So, ayan, para masagutan yung what I know, ganyan yung gagawin natin. Okay na? Next. Let us have this activity. Write the opposite of each number. Okay, so Again, when we say opposite, that is the same as the additive inverse. Same lang to sa ating tinatawag na additive inverse. Yan. Yan. Additive inverse is the same as the opposite of the given number. Okay, so let us have this. Positive 5. Kukunin natin yung opposite niyan. Ang opposite ng positive 5 ay we have negative 5. Then we have the opposite of negative 7. Ang opposite ng negative ay we have positive 7. Okay, next. Positive 10. Ano yung opposite ng positive 10? Opposite niyan, we have negative 10. Okay, so lagyan natin, negative 10. Then opposite ng negative 16, ang opposite ng negative 16, that is positive 16. Okay, so yan, yung other side of from 0. Yan, kung sa number line natin. So, yan yung additive inverse natin or yung opposite. Opposite ng positive 5, negative 5. Opposite ng negative 7, positive 7. Opposite ng positive 10, negative 10. And opposite of negative 16 is positive 16. Yan. Okay, next. Tayo. Okay, so you can graph the positive and negative numbers on the number line. So ito yung ating tinatawag na number line. Yan. On a number line, opposites are the same distance from 0 but on different side of 0. Ano ibig sabihin yan? So, let us have this. Consider natin yung negative 2. Ang opposite niyan ay positive 2. Yan. Same distance. So, ibig sabihin yan from 0. Yan. We have the distance negative 2 from 0. It is actually 2 units. Then we also have the distance from 0 to negative 2. That is also 2 units. That is from 0. Opposite side. Yan, different side. Yan, yung ibig sabihin ng same distance. Even with positive 5. So, yung positive 5 natin, gamit ako ng red dito. Yung positive 5, the distance of that positive 5 from 0 is equal or the same distance of this opposite number. We have negative 5. Opposite ng positive 5 from 0, that is also 5 units. So, yan, yung distance niyan. Okay, so ito yung ating number line na tinatawag. We have what we call integers. Integers are set of whole numbers and their opposite. So, pagka sinabing whole number, we have 0 and the counting numbers. The counting number with 0. Yan yung ating whole number. Yan. Yung ating positive number or positive integers, those are number that is written at the right of 0. Yan. Ito yung mga positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, positive 4, positive 5. Yan. And so on so forth. So, tandaan, meron tayong arrow dito. Ibig sabihin, papunta sa right yung ating positive. Then we also have numbers that is written at the left of 0. Yan. Ito yung ating mga negative integers. We have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, hanggang sa yan, negative infinity. Yan. Ang ibig sabihin ng arrow dito. Yan. 0 is neither negative nor positive. So, makikita natin dito, wala tayong sign sa 0. Hindi siya positive, hindi rin siya negative. So, that is actually a point of origin. Yan. Basta nasa right ng 0, positive. Yung nasa left ng 0, negative. So, yan. Tandaan nyo yan. Okay, next. We have the this activity. Graph its integers and its opposite on the number line. Given this number line. So, i-graph natin tong positive 3 kasama na rin yung kanyang opposite. Even negative 4. Ganun yung gagawin nyo sa worksheet. Yan. Worksheet in Mathematics First Quarter, Week 3, Day 3 to 4. Okay, so yan yung gagawin ninyo sa week 3, Day 3 to 4 ng inyong worksheet. Laplat natin tong mga to doon sa number line. Siyempre, lalagay din nyo yung label. Kung ano yung number na yon. Halimbawa, dito. We have positive 3. Locate natin yung positive 3 na yan sa ating number line. Okay, so we have positive 3. Ito yung kanyang location. Yan, plot natin yan. And also, yung opposite niyan, that is negative 3. Ayan. Lalagyan natin to. Kung yan ay A, ayan. Lagay lang natin dyan. A. Okay, so ayan, lalagay natin. Yan yung kanyang opposite. AO na lang ilagay ninyo. Yan. Dito naman, 1O, tapos 1. Ganon. Okay. And next, halimbawa ito, number. Gawin natin tong number 2. Sample lang. Para alam ninyo yung gagawin nyo dito para hindi rin ako malito sa pag-check. Okay, so sa number 2, negative 4. Locate natin yan. Plot natin yan sa number line. Dito natin makikita. So we have negative 4. Then, yung kanyang opposite, ang opposite ng negative 4 ay positive 4. I-plot din natin siya dito. Yan. Then, label natin to as we have 2. Then, yung ating opposite dito, lagay natin dito, 2, then, opposite. Yan. Okay na? Okay, so yan lang yung gagawin ninyo sa worksheet week 3, day 3 and 4. Okay, so next tayo. Let us have is absolute value. Okay, define natin yung absolute value. Absolute value of an integer is its distance from 0 on a number line. The symbol for absolute value is, yan, makikita niyo tong dalawang bar na to. And vertical line. Okay, so say absolute value that refers to is the distance of a given number from 0. Ayan, yung definition natin ng ating, yung ating absolute value. Okay, so it is actually a distance of a given number from 0. Kapag sinabi nating distance, take note, say distance, this is always positive. Yan. Distance is always positive. Yan. Palaging positive yung distance. Okay, so absolute values are never negative. So, yan yung sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, that is always positive. Opposite integers have the same absolute value. What do you mean by this? Absolute opposite integers. Okay, consider natin dito yung example natin dun sa number line. Meron tayong absolute value ng negative 4 that is equal to 4 and absolute value of positive 4 is equal to 4. When say absolute value of negative 4, yan, that is the distance of that negative 4 from 0. Ayan, yung distance nito. Mula 0 papunta kay negative 4, that is 4 units. Then we also have the distance of this integer, positive 4 from 0. And distance nitong positive 4 from 0, that is also equal to 4 units. So as you can see, the absolute value of negative 4 and the absolute value of positive 4, yung opposite, are the same. Ayan. Yung ibig sabihin nito. Ayan. And also, absolute value of 0 is also equal to 0. Yung distance nitong 0 na to sa 0 ay 0. Ayan. Since hindi naman lumipat. Okay, so yan. Likewise, yung absolute value ng value ng negative 3 ay dapat equal sa absolute value ng positive 4. I'm referring to the distance of these two numbers. Yung opposite ng negative 3 ay positive 3. Yung kanilang absolute value ay equal. Equal yung kanilang distance from 0. Yan yung ibig sabihin yan. Okay na? So next tayo. Then, ang absolute value is always be positive since it refers to the distance of the given number from 0. Next. Okay, so use the number line to find the absolute value of each integer. Okay, so absolute value of positive 6. So locate muna natin yan. So, hanapin natin yung kanyang absolute value gamit yung pag-graph. Okay, so yan. Ito yung ating negative 6. Hanapin ninyo yung distance niya mula sa 0. So let's count how many units. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6 units. Yan. 6 units yung ating, yan. Ang pangit. So lagay ko lang dito. The distance of that positive 6 from 0 is actually 6 units. So lagay natin dito yung sagot. That will be equal to 6. Positive 6. Yan. About number 2, negative 4. Locate natin yung negative 4 dito. So, nandito yung ating negative 4. We're going to find the distance of that negative 4 from 0. Okay, let's count how many units. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, we have 4 units away from 0. So, lagay natin dito 4 units. Ayan. So, definitely the distance of this negative 4 from 0 is equal to 4. Ilang natin? Is equal to positive 4. Okay na? So, next tayo. Okay, so Joseph lives in this greenhouse. So, dito yung tahanan ni Joseph. Then, yung mga kaibigan niya, ito yung tahanan ni Alexa, ni Dan, tahanan ni Dan, tahanan ni Dennis, tahanan ni Nick. Okay, so tanong dito, gaano kalayo yung bahay ng kaibigan ni Joseph dun sa kanilang tahanan? Okay, so represent natin yan. Gagamit tayo ng mga coordinates. Consider natin yung bahay ni Joseph that will represent or the coordinates of the Joseph house will be equal to 0 since that will be the origin. Yan, yung initial point. So, gaano kalayo yung bahay ni Alexa? Gaano kalayo yung bahay ni Dan? Gaano din kalayo yung bahay ni Dennis? Likewise with the house of Nick. Gaano siya kalayo? Okay, when we know the distance from 0, we use absolute value. Okay, so since ito yung nagre-represent sa bahay ni Joseph, so we represent that one as our 0 para makuha yung distance nito, ang mga bahay na to, dun sa bahay ni, gaano kalayo sa bahay ni Joseph, kukunin natin yung absolute value. So, yung absolute value ng bahay ni Alexa, that is absolute value of positive 2. Ni Nick naman, we have absolute value of negative 2. Then we have Dan, that is absolute value of positive 2. And Dennis, yun, that is the absolute value of negative 2, that is equal to 2. So, 2 units away. Yan. Absolute value are always be positive. So, tandaan, positive palagi yung ating absolute value. Kasi ang tinutukoy nito yung distance, yung layo. Yan. Yung layo ni Alexa dun sa bahay ni Joseph. That is 2 units. Even with the house of Dan. How far is the house of Dan from the house of Joseph? That is 2 units. Likewise with Dennis, that is 2 units. And even with the house of Nick, that is 2 units away from the house of Joseph. Ayan. Absolute value are always be positive. Next. Okay, so find its absolute value. Ito yung gagawin ninyo sa what's more. Ayan. And even with assessment, letter A. So we're going to find the absolute value of its number. Okay, so for number 1, lagay natin dito. Gamit ako ng blue. Yan. Okay, absolute value of negative 21. That will be equal to yung distance nitong negative 21 from 0. That will be equal to 21 units, or that is positive 21. Then we have the absolute value of 14. Distance ng positive 14 from 0 in our number line, that is equal to positive 14. Then we have the negative absolute value of negative 1. That will be equal to, okay, absolute value of negative 1 is positive 1. But since we have the negative sign before the absolute value, or that is written outside the absolute value, then we're going to answer it negative 1. Okay, so yan, mapapansin nyo dito, meron tayong negative sign sa labas ng absolute value. Yan yung reason kung bakit naging negative yung sagot. Kung meron kayong nakitang negative sign dun sa labas ng absolute value, then yung sagot natin ay magiging negative sa absolute value. Okay, next. For number 4, absolute value of positive 21, that is equal to 21. So, yung distance ng 21 dun sa 0 ay 21 units. Then we also have negative absolute value of negative 7. So, again, meron na naman tayong negative dito. Definitely, our answer should be negative 7. Ayan. So, kung meron kayong nakitang negative dito, ayan, lalagay ninyong sagot, negative. Yan, tapos na. Yay! Okay, so, yan, ganyan sagutan yung sa what's more sa module and even with the assessment in your module. Yan. Okay, next. Let us have this. Okay, absolute value in real life. An eyeglass prescription is given as a positive or negative number. A prescription for a person who is farsighted can see near. Yan, ito yung nakakakita lang kung nasa malayo. That is positive. And a prescription for a person who is nearsighted, that is negative. The greater the absolute value, the stronger the prescription. Which prescription is stronger? Will it be negative 3 or positive 2? So yan. What is the absolute value of its prescription? Kukunin muna natin yung absolute value ng negative 3. Ito yung sa nearsighted. Then, kukunin din natin yung absolute value ng positive 2. Ito naman para sa farsighted. Okay, so absolute value of negative 3, that is positive 3. So, yung distance ng negative 3 from 0 is 3 units. Then, absolute value of positive 2 is 2. That means the distance of this positive 2 from 0 in our number line is 2 units. And next, which prescription is greater? Ano yung mas mataas ang grado? Yung negative 3 ba o yung positive 2? Siguro naman, parehas tayo ng sagot. Anong sagot ninyo? Yun na rin yung sagot ko. That is, ayan. So, yay! And next, negative 3. Okay, let us have this. Complete the statement using this inequality symbol, greater than, less than, and equal. Write your answer in a box. So, wala tayong box. Ayan, pasensya na. Lalagay ko, hindi ko na ilagay dito. For number 1, absolute value of negative 3 and absolute value of positive 2. Number 2, absolute value of negative 8 and absolute value of 8. And number 3, we have absolute value of 9 and absolute value of negative 12. Number 4, negative absolute value of negative 4 and absolute value of 3. And number 5, absolute value of negative 8 and negative absolute value of positive 10. So, ayan. Para sa assessment, letter B. Ganito yung gagawin ninyo. Okay, kunin muna natin yung absolute value ng negative 3. Gaano kalayo ito? Itong absolute atong negative 3 from 0. That is actually 3 units. Then we have absolute value of 2. That means gaano kalayo yung positive 2 dun sa 0. That is 2. Okay, so now, compare natin yung 3 and 2 para hindi kayo malito. Absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3 and absolute value of positive 2 is equal to 2. Ayan. Bago pala yan, ano muna natin to. Kita ko lang sa inyo. Take note. Ayan. Kitain ko lang. Okay. Positive numbers always greater than oh no, greater than negative number. Yan. Mabas na. And also, yung negative numbers is less than positive numbers. So, pag positive yung nasa kaliwa, that will be greater than the negative yung nasa kanan. Yan. Negative number, and that is less than the positive number. Yan. Okay, so dito tayo. Anyway, pagka-absolute value naman, it's always be positive. And you're going to compare kung ano yung mas malaki, yung nasa kaliwa or yung nasa kanan. Okay, absolute value of negative 3 and absolute value of positive 2. Ang absolute value ng negative 3 ay positive 3. Absolute value ng positive 2 ay positive 2. So definitely, yung 3 will be greater than positive 2. Okay, absolute value ng negative 3 ay positive 3. Samantalang ang absolute value ng positive 2 ay positive 2. Ayan. Okay, next. Absolute value naman ng negative 8. That is equal to positive 8. Absolute value of 8. That is equal to 8. So, 8 then 8. Since parehas yan, ang lalagay natin dito ay equal. Okay, next. Absolute value of positive 9. That is, yan, positive 9. Absolute value of negative 12. Ang absolute value naman ng negative 12 ay positive 12. Okay, so nilalagay dito, greater than ba o less than? So definitely, 9 is less than positive 12. Okay, next. Negative absolute value of positive 12. Paano ba yan? May negative tayo dito. Yan. Kung may negative dito sa labas ng ating absolute value, ang sagot natin dito ay negative 4. Ang absolute value ng negative 4 ay positive 4. But since meron tayong negative dito, ang sasagot natin dyan ay negative. Then absolute value of positive 3 will be positive 3. So negative 4 and positive 3. Negative number is always be less than positive number. So ang gagamitin natin symbol dito ay less than. And next, absolute value of negative 8. That will be positive 8. Yan. Then, negative absolute value of positive 10. Okay, so yan. Meron na naman tayong negative dito. Yan, sa labas ng absolute value. So, kukunin natin yung absolute value ng 10. That is positive 10. But since meron tayong negative dito sa labas, lalagay natin dito ay negative. Ayan. 8 and negative 10. So, positive is greater than negative. So, ang gagamitin natin dito ay greater than. Okay, so yan. Ganyan sagutan yung ating assessment dun sa inyong module. Okay, so yan. Kung may tanong kayo, i-message lang dun sa ating Facebook page. Makikita yung link dun sa description box. Ayan, sa mga hindi pa po nag-subscribe, pindutin lang po yung subscribe button. Kasama na rin po yung notification bell. Yan po, marami pong salamat. Hanggang sa muli, dyan po nagtatapos ang ating lesson ngayon. Paalam! Yehey!